So welcome all of you for today's CPD on the advanced QS practice and contracts management. And we are going to discuss today about the contractual letters. So beginning with this CPD, I am going to give a small introduction about myself before going to the subject. Okay. So my name is Mohammed Munas. Myself, I am coming from University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, and basically a quantity surveyors and holding a multiple chartered qualification. I'm a fellow member of RICS and also fellow member of CMI, and also I'm a member of CIOB, CAB, and other organization. Also, I'm a authorized quantity surveying lecturer by the City and Guilds UK, and I'm a RICS assessor, counselor, and mentor. So this is a very short introduction about myself, and I have a questions. Why do you need to learn from me? Because many of you attending my CPD today, you might have some objective, isn't it? So why do you need to learn from me? Do you have any objective? Okay. So I have some justification to explain you why it is better to learn from me, because I am a dual practitioner. Basically, I'm in the industry, I'm in the construction industry, as well as I'm in the academic. I was work with the client, I was work with the consultant, and I work with the contractor and subcontractor. Okay, these are the main parties that you can see in the contract. Not only that, I worked with so many institutions to train the quantity surveyor as from the degree level, diploma level. So I worked in a different countries as well. I worked in UAE, Oman, and Qatar. Currently, right, I'm living in UAE, and also I practice in Sri Lanka as well. So working in a different countries, different exposure, because they are not practicing in the same way, same standard in a different countries. Also, I have worked with the different type of project. Basically, we can say infrastructure project. I worked with the road, metro, airport, and building. If you talk about the building, I have worked with the simple building, but then I have worked with the townhouses, development, then high-rise buildings, then a model city. You can say Pearl Qatar is a modern city. So this kind of cities have apartments, so many infrastructure within that. It's a land, man-made island. You can say man-made island made by the dredging and reclamation works. So this is a different experience. So working with the different experience and the client, what I have achieved so far, I have built thousands of quantity surveyor using my knowledge and this experience. When come to the quantity surveyors, many of you are, I believe you are working as a quantity surveyor. There are many skill sets quantity surveyor must have it, but all of these skill set will fall under these four category. One is you should have the legal knowledge. Let's say if you want to work with the contracts, you have to have the legal knowledge. Then you have to have technical knowledge. As a quantity surveyor or project manager, you want to price the scope, you want to identify the scope, you need to have the technical knowledge. Then you should know how to manage the cost commercially. You have to know how to deliver the project. So economic knowledge and also managing the resources is very important. So management skill. So these are the QS core area. So the thousands of quantity survey which I build academically, those academic program focus on these four area. Now when come to the industry, I do a chartered training for the MRICS. More than 200 MRICS benefited. But to achieve the MRICS, there is a small problem. Now, many of you are aiming the MRICS, right? So there is a small issue you will face. Look, if you are coming from the academic, RICS focusing on the industry, the academic and the industry have a small gap. Sometimes the gap is very big. So this gap is to be filled. Without filling this gap between the academic and the industry, right, it is going to be a hard to become a MRICS. But there are so many ways. Many candidates are trying to achieve the MRICS, but at the end you must have the skill set to work with the employer, because quantity surveyors are responsible for commercial management. Commercial management means you have to ensure the profitability. Also, yeah, I not covered one region, more than 50 different nationalities or different countries students attended my training, and 1,000 plus career transformation I have done. That means so many people uplifted their career for a better deserving profession, and also they went for a better promotions, and also they went for a better salaries. And many people come from the different principle, like for example, different uh, qualification and the experience they have converted to the deserving profession. On top of that, I have built the QS4QS. What I'm trying to do through this, the QS4QS trying to merge the quantity surveyor across the countries to build a one platform that can help for us. And also QS4QS is a regulated firm by RICS for the consultant practice. Actually, I have a goal to build 1,000 RICS. But this goal, using my 20 years experience as a lecturer, as an industry practitioner, to build the 1,000 RICS, I found the big challenge, a gap between the real knowledge in the industry. So to fill this gap, I have to do something. As I told you, academic. Now let's talk about the academic. Do you think there's so many universities providing the degrees nowadays for many principles, but every degree is produced by the university? Are they really focusing the industry needs? Sometimes no, because there are so many gaps. Trained by the universities, not enough to perform in the industry. Now let me ask you a question, simple question. Let's say there's a student in one university performing as a first class student. Let's say he knows everything, all the subject, he's scored a lot of marks. He's a high ranking student. Now he graduated from the university coming to the industry as a QS. Do you think he can perform as a experienced quantity surveyor in the industry? He can immediately take the project and run the project without any problem? What do you think? No, isn't it? Because the missing part is experience. What if the academic teach them in the academic program itself about the experience? It will be a great, and it will be a great to learn something, but it is not happening. So this is the first challenge the students are, or the people are coming from the academic background, okay, facing in the industry. So this is a huge gap need to be rectified. So now let's talk about the people are changing the profession. Let's say basically they are having the engineering qualification. Now they want to work as a quantity surveyor. Many quantity surveyors working in the industry, they are not basically quantity surveyor. They are coming from the different field. So think about the person academically trained as a quantity surveyor itself facing the lot of problem in the industry. What about the people are changing the profession to the QS? Definitely, they also will face the problem. Another thing is within the construction industry itself. Now let's say working as a quantity surveyor somehow more comfortable and good salary compared to the site working people, like a technician, site engineer. These people are suffering a lot in the site, especially in Gulf region. You have a lot of problem with the climate. So if you are working in if you are exposed to the external environment, definitely you have the climatic impact. Again, they are going to transform the career and they are going to face the challenges with the knowledge in the gap. So therefore, you can see so many way this career changes making a lot of trouble to the quantity surveyors. And every year, the new graduates entering into the industry bring up huge challenges. So every year people are changing the profession, they want to shift to the career, and every year people are entering to the industry, they are going to have the big challenge. So therefore, to fill these challenges, I have developed a training which is called Advanced Quantity Surveying Practice and Contracts Management, because this training will definitely help and help many quantity surveyor to perform in the real industry. Now, going back to the things I have told you, the many people are aiming the RICS, don't just aim the title. There are so many ways you can get this membership. But the problem is, it doesn't matter if you don't have the skill set that really needed to perform your job. Now, today we are going to discuss as a part of the AQS how to do the contractual letter writing. So to write the contractual letters, we should understand the contract itself, isn't it? So let's talk about the contract. So why Gulf countries are using the FIDIC books? Why not JCT? Why it is very important to learn the FIDIC itself? There are so many things you should understand. You have so many standard form of contract. But in Gulf, you have to know the FIDIC is the one, right? Very important to practice. So why we need to learn this one? Let's see one by one. Nature of the Gulf market. Now, what is the nature of the Gulf market? The nature of the Gulf market is something you should understand. The international consultant, international contractor, right? International client, they are entering into the market. So if they are coming to the market, they can't practice with the local contract. Sometimes they are not familiar with this one. So they will have an issue to practice the local contract. So therefore, the FIDIC is globally recognized standard form, and the parties entering into the contract, they are more comfortable to practice with this condition of contract. That is one reason. Okay, another thing is project scale. Now think about the project scale. In Gulf region, you can see small project, but there are mega projects going on. Now where the construction professional heading? Which country they are mostly heading toward the construction world? Mostly the Gulf industry. So this Gulf industry, right? This Gulf industry have a larger projects, mega scale project, building and the infrastructure. So the FIDIC itself made for the specifically for the complex high value project, not like JCT or NEC, more focusing on the building projects. And it is more suitable compared to the JCT and NEC. Some other reasons. Okay, some other reason mean the law. Do you know what is a civil law and the common law? Maybe some of you don't know about this. Let me ask you simple question. What laws used in the UK? Common law or civil law? They follow the JCT and NEC, but what type of law they are using? Okay, they are using the common law. But in UAE or Saudi Arabia, like all Gulf countries, what law they are using? They are using the civil law. So the compatibility, you can say the adaptation of the local law is very important when you are choosing the condition of contract. So since Gulf countries follow the Sharia law, which is a civil law based legal system, it is very easy to use the JCT or NEC compared to the FIDIC. It is very easy to use the FIDIC because of the law system. Then another thing is contractual risk. The FIDIC have contractual provision where the risk can be allocated easily between the party, and it is very important to allocate the risk correctly between the parties. If you don't allocate the risk between the parties correctly, it's going to bring a lot of trouble to the construction practitioner. So therefore, understanding the roles and responsibility between the parties is very important. So the FIDIC give the balance risk sharing mechanism between the parties, and also the dispute. If the risk not shared correctly, the dispute will come. So the parties must practice a condition of contract at the end, which they are very familiar. Now think, already the construction industry in Gulf market, they already become familiar with the FIDIC contract. Now, is it easy to change the different form of contract, which they already become familiar? What do you think? Is it easy? No, isn't it? It is not going to be easy because they already become well familiar with this FIDIC contract. We should understand the FIDIC. I choose in my training FIDIC 1999 Red Book. Okay, you know there's a 2017 version and 1987 version. Maybe you can ask why we don't go with the latest version. Oh, why we didn't choose the 87 version? I have an answer for that one. The 1987 version is an old version, complicated one. 2017 version is the latest version, not that much complicated, easy to understand, but bulky. 1999 in between. It's not easy, it's not so complicated. If you learn 1999, you will be able to understand 1987 and 2017. So that is the reason I have choose the 1999 version. And another reason, the industry, current industry now started to practice 1999. 2017 books will take some time to enter in the industry, because since the parties have become familiar with the 1987, they are all stick with the 1987 mostly. But new contracting firm and the clients are preferring 1999. So therefore, 2017 will take another 10 or 20 years to capture the market. Therefore, I don't want to bring something not that much useful for your learning or growing purpose in a career wise. So that is the reason I have choose the 1999. In 1999, we have the 20 major subclauses. So general provision will talk about the important part of the contract, and the employer talk about the some key roles and responsibility of the employer, like we have engineer, contractor, nominated subcontractor, staff and labor, plant, material, and so many things. Commencement, how to commence the project. There's a delay, suspension, all are connected to the program actually. Then test and completion, employer taking over, defect liability, measurement evaluations, variations, contract price and payment, termination by the employer can happen, suspension, risk, insurance, force majeure, and finally claims dispute arbitration. So 20 sub clauses are there. Without learning these all 20 sub clauses, can we able to understand the contract and apply the contract in the real practice? Learning this contract, you have to have the deeper understanding. Don't you think these 20 sub clauses are not independent sub clauses? Those are interconnected sub clauses between the other sub clauses. Do you know that one? Okay, so therefore, you should understand we have to learn in detail all the sub clauses. Now I will go to the general provision. This is the first sub clause that FIDIC talk about. Let us have a small kickstart before we talk about the contractual letter writing today about the general provision. When come to the general provision, we should have a good understanding about these. Talk about the definition in the subclause 1.1. Do you know what is the definition here? They are defined. Let's say, what do you mean by employer? It's defined. Employer who? Who's a contractor? Who's the engineer? See the defined letters. All the defined letters, see here, capital, is starting with the capital letter. You can see. So, the capital letters in the contract documents are defined letter. Now look at this wording in the subclause itself, like letter of acceptance. So letter of tender, there's a capital letter. So you see, that is a capital letter here repeating. Likewise, any letter that you are seeing as a capital letter is mostly a defined letter. Let's say contract agreement. Is it a defined letter? Yes, it is a defined letter, because you can see here contract agreement. Now my question, all the defined letter words you can say in the FIDIC are starting with the capital letter. What do you think? All the defined letters in the FIDICs are starting with the capital letter. Is that correct? Okay, let me see your answer. So yes, defined letters in the general conditions are starting with the capital letter. Now when you are writing a contractual letters, if you use capital contractor, capital party, means it is defined letter as per the contract. You don't need to tell what it is. It is already defined here. But my question, if you write all the words in a capital letter, is it defined as per this general condition? Now let us see here, day and the year. Is it in a capital letter? No, it is not in the capital letter. Why FIDIC put the day and the year in the simple letter? Nobody knows this answer. So there are no inconsistency. Therefore, the answer is no. For the first question I have asked you, so there are contract words are there which is defined but not in the capital letters. So learning the capital letters in the contracts is very important, because you should refer to these each and every definitions when you are really want to understand the contract. So definitely throughout our training, we will learn each and every part of these words and we are going to practice, and therefore you can have the better contractual understanding and contractual practices. Therefore writing the contractual letter become easy for you. Okay, and also it's keep continuing the subclauses. I'm not going to read everything today in this session because we have a limited time today. Therefore I will conclude that we will learn each and everything, every wording, right, in upcoming session. Okay. Now, as I told you, the general provision, right, there are some questions. What is the purpose of defining the terms in the general provision? Why we need to have it? Is there any answer for that one? Yes, because it is clarifying the term used. There's no ambiguity. There's no misinterpretation. That is the purpose. We put that one. So how does the general provision subclause address the issue of contract document discrepancies? So there are ambiguity between the document. Let's say BOQ say about the concrete grade for the slab grade 30. You can say BOQ say grade 30. Specification say grade 40. And the drawing say grade 50. Now which one you are going to follow? There's ambiguities. Okay, contract. As per the FIDIC, there's a guidance how to deal with the ambiguities. We will learn that. Okay, another thing is the role of the engineer. Not only the role of the engineer, role of the contractor, role of the employer, everything well defined in the FIDIC. And explain how the general provision subclause cover the subcontracting. Actually, you will get the idea about this question, right? The general provision subclause, which is outline the condition which contractor may subcontract some part of the works. There are different types of subcontractor. Namely, we can say domestic subcontractor and the nominated subcontractor. Way of handling the subcontracts are different. So therefore, these general provisions are addressing correctly those contractual provisions. And also, what are the implications of the choice of law? Governing law is very important. Subclause 1, it talk about the governing law. Now let me ask you a question. Can we have a contract in Gulf region or any country that contract, some of the contract provisions are against the governing law? It is contradicting with the governing law. Can we have it? It's not possible, isn't it? Now let me ask you a question. You have the condition of contract. There is 100 subclauses inside the condition of contract. Out of the 100 subclauses, 5 subclauses are against the governing law or contradicting with the governing law. Now question is the entire contract become null and void, or only those 5 subclauses become null and void? What do you think? What is the correct answer? Okay, so let me see your answer. Only those 5 subclauses which are violating the governing law become null and void, not everything. Therefore, why I am trying to say, if you are signing any contract, don't keep any subclauses that violating the governing law. Now, why it is become very important to talk today? Because FIDIC contract draft based on the international law suitable for the civil law, but it is not suitable 100% for the Sharia law. So therefore, some subclauses within the FIDIC itself definitely going to contradict with the Sharia law. So we should have the understanding what kind of subclauses are contradicting with the Sharia law. Okay, so why it is important to learn rights and obligation in a contract? Now you should understand that one. There's an employer in the contract. There's a contractor in the contract. What employer want? He want to build the house or building as per the drawing and specification. That is his rights. Contractor obligation is to build the house according to the employer requirement. Now, what about the contractor rights? He want to get paid. He's doing business, so he want to get paid as per the work done. So, what about the employer rights? He need to have the building. What is the contractor rights? He need to have the payment as per the work done. So, therefore, contractor right become employer obligation. employer must pay the contractor according to the work done. We will have the deeper understanding in upcoming lecture series. There are so many other factors influencing the condition of contract. Mainly the procurement routes will determine the parties' rights and obligations. So in our lecture series, we will learn all these type of procurement routes in detail. So here I have put a screenshot of the employer sale. Now, what do you mean by employer sale or contractor sale or engineer sale? Employer sale means employer obligation, isn't it? So how many search we found here in the FIDIC? We got how many? You can see in the screen, we got a 57 search result. Okay, so the employer obligation, which is very visible obligation found in the FIDIC, is this many number. Now let's go and see engineer sale. How many we got? 74. So you can see previously 57, here 74. Now ultimately engineer works under the employer. He is an employer representative. So employer have same obligation towards the contractor whichever the engineer has. So engineer obligation ultimately employer obligation. Because contractor didn't sign the contract agreement with the engineer, or you can say consultant. He signed the agreement with the contractor and the employer itself. If you are going to check the contractor obligations, you can say how many? Contractor sale is 251, almost. You can see how many fold increase. Now let me ask you a question. If you want to work for any parties, let's say you are going to work for a contractor, is it only enough you understood what is a contractor obligation? You don't need to worry about the engineer or employer obligation. Can you do that practice? Or vice versa, you work only for a client. Okay, you understood what is an engineer or consultant obligation. You don't care about the employer obligation or contractor obligation. Actually, you should understand your rights. Contractor obligation become your rights. So if you should know what is your right, isn't it? So to understand your rights, you should know other party rights and obligation. That is the reason there's no excuse. If you want to learn the contract, you have to learn all the parties' rights and obligation. So, okay. So therefore, I have a small task for all of you. Can you do this small homework? Now everyone going to join this new training. I have a small task. You already have the FIDIC Red book. If you don't have it, ask me. I will send you. You print it manually. You have to do the hard binding before you come to the next lesson, because we are going to work through this book for another 8 months. So do this exercise. Wherever the subclause you found, let's say is subclause number 1.8, contractor sales supply the engineer 6 copy of the each contract document. It's mentioned here. So you have to do the small homework. Okay, how many contractor sale? 251. Mark it. What is the subclause number? What it says. If you do that one, you will slowly understand what is a contractor obligation. Your obligation is a employer rights. Vice versa, you have to do engineer sale and the employer sale. You will get the good idea about the entire contract, what parties rights and obligation here. It is a very basic to start your learning. Then we will now discuss about the condition of contract, which is we are using in the construction industry. I have a small question to all of you. It is important for a quantity surveyor or project manager to learn the condition of contract to manage the project. What do you think? Now, let's say many of you are working as a QS or project manager. Do you think it is very important to learn the contract? Or we can manage it. We just do the quantity taking off only, no? So no need to learn the contract. We just do according to our knowledge, but we have no need to learn the particular condition of contract. Is it correct? We can ignore the subject. What do you think? Possible to ignore? No, isn't it? It is very important. So the questions are, I want to ask you yes or no. How many of you say no? How many of you say yes? No, you need to have the understanding about the contract. Okay, why we need to understand the contract? During the tender time, you can't understand the condition of contract. How you are going to understand the contractual risk? how you are going to understand the contractual scope of work. When you are signing the contract, do you know how to check it properly? There is a bonds and insurance. There is a payment application or certification. Either if you are a contractor, you want to prepare the interim payment application, you should know what is the content of it, how to do that one, what are the requirements. If you are a consultant, you do the interim payment certification, you should know how to do that certification. And also change control management, which is variation, not avoidable. So if you want to know how to manage the variation, you should know the contract. What is your contract says? You are going to have the subcontractor agreement, either nominated or domestic. You should know what are the terms and conditions you have to enter with them. Taking over certificate, either consultant or contractor, you should know how to certify or how to issue the taking over certificate. Or if you are a contractor, you should know what are the requirements to apply for a taking over certificate. Once the taking over certificate is issued, you should know statement at completion. Okay, statement at completion. What are the requirements? How to do the submission? It's all about payment. Once the taking over certificate issued, defect notification period will begin. So as a contractor, what is your responsibility during the defect notification period? Once the defect notification period is done, you have to get the performance certificate and you have to do the final account. What is the requirement? And you have to know sometimes suspension, terminations, and dispute can happen, how to manage. So without learning these contractual things, do you think as a quantity surveyor, you are the one dealing with all of them? Can you manage it? Now, many of you are a beginner level quantity surveyor or intermediate level quantity surveyor, but without learning this, it is going to be a very tough challenges ahead for a career growth. And thing is, you have to be very happy that under this advanced QS practice now, we are covering 100% all the FIDIC subclauses in depth. So this is not only the topics I have shared, there are a lot of things inside the FIDIC we are going to cover. Now I will come back to the question, contractual letters. Can we write a contractual letters for any perspective? Like for example, you are going to write the letter for a payment or variation or taking over certificates or suspension happening. Can you do a contractual letter without understanding what is a contract? What do you think? Is it very important to learn? Yes, it is very important to learn, right? Because to manage the variation, extension of time, claims, so many contractual notice provisions are there, right? Disputes will come. You should know how to write the contractual letter, because contractual letters are common things that everything need to be done through that. So this contractual letter is additional component will be added in the new advanced QS practice. So this is a new syllabus I have included within this program. Okay, now you should know a content of a letter. Okay, so before I discuss the content of letter, so yes, we are the one responsible for the contractual letters. Either you are a project manager or quantity surveyor, either you have to do this one without any excuse. But writing the contractual letters not easy task. I will say why. Okay, now let us understand content of a contractual letter. Okay, I will explain. So try to capture this one. This is a simple format I have included here. But if you are writing the contractual letters, okay, so I am going to use the pointer here. The letter should have the date. Okay, the letter should have the date. Without a date, you are doing a great mistake in the contractual letter. The date should be there. So you should have the date in the letter. And also, okay, the reference number, letter reference number. Actually, the letter reference number having the unique number. You can see there's a unique number. This number actually a project number or project code. Every client, they use their unique number for the particular project. So you can see the letter reference here, the number, either the engineer letter or contractor letter, that number is unique. So that is a project number or project code. And this is a letter reference number. It's like a serial number. Okay. Then you can see the attention, who's, okay, to whom it is going. Be careful, not a joke. It is coming from the RACI matrix. RACI matrix. RACI. RACI. Okay. Responsible party, accountable party, the party to be consulted or informed. You can't just put the people wrongly here. It's going to be become problem for you. So you have to put that the parties who you are sending according to the RACI matrix. Then you are going to put the project name and the subject of the letters. The objective of the letter should be reflected in the subject. Okay, if you are talking something, that objective should be here. So here the title is project communication. So this letter about the project communication. But when we are talking about so many complicated things in the contractual things, okay, that title should be very carefully, okay, drafted. Then you have to put the any existing correspondences which is related to these topics. So we had an engineer letter, there are 3 contractors letters, all are here. That should be the letter number, reference number, and the date. These references are very important. Then you are starting with the dear sir. Sometime you can use the, if possible, you can address the party by name. Okay, you can say dear, you can put the name instead of sir or madam. So that is if you know who's you are, sending this letter. Otherwise, commonly you can use dear sir. Then this is a subject body. The subject body not easy one. We are going to discuss in detail in upcoming trainings, but just I'm trying to introduce the format. So the subject body should be write very clearly to indicate the message. Then finally, the party who signed the contract, okay, letters should be authorized signatory or responsible party. Now, if you are using any wording inside the letter that is capital, let's say contractor, do you know what does that mean? Is a defined letter. Now, what do you mean by project? It's a defined letter. Communication is a defined letter. Okay, so define words in the subclause 1. That's the things. Then if you are CCing these documents or letter to someone, this also according to the RACI matrix. And sometimes not only one party signing, many people are signing the contract. Right? Technical team sometime or different department will sign. If needed, you have to do the attachment. You can say annexes or appendices. Sometimes we can call enclosure, because it is part of the document. You have to have it. And if you need the reply to this letter, mention yes. If you say yes, tell the date when. Okay. Then when you are sending this letter to the opponent, get their acknowledgement because they received the letter. It is manual one. If you are using the any electronic document management system, then once they receive, you have the report. But this is a sample letter that I shown to you. You can use it. You can take this format and you can use it. Now we'll see what are the common problems that happening in the letter writing. Okay, how many of you done the letter writing before? You might have the problem. You have the understanding about the problem. Those people never done any letter writing. Fine. Let me explain you what are the problem you are going to face. So how to avoid it? That's the things. First problem, you are not aware about the RACI matrix. You don't have any idea what is a RACI matrix at all. So if you don't know what is a RACI matrix, how do you know to whom you are going to send this letter? Sending the wrong person. Okay, say you want to send the letter to the employer, but you are sending someone else. So if you are issuing the contractual letter to the wrong party, or if you are not copying if you don't copy the RACI matrix parties, you are failing the contractual obligation. Actually, notice provisions are there. So many contractual correspondence are part of the contractual obligation. So that is a main problem you have to understand. Sometimes you are sending the letter wrongly to the wrong person. Say engineer is supposed to send the letter to the employer, but he sent to the contractor, which is confidential detail. Can happen. Many people email, they do the CC, when they type wrong email ID, it will go to the different party. So avoid that mistake. Make sure you have to triple check before you send any letters, that you covered the adequate parties and you didn't cover the wrong one. Okay, then contractual references. If you're writing any contractual letters, you have to mention the contractual references. If you don't mention the contractual references, where you are getting this entitlement or where is your rights under this contract? If you don't have the rights, you don't have right to ask. So therefore you have to measure your contractual provisions. So you have to mention what contractual reference that you have, then only you have to write. Otherwise, you don't put the contractual reference or wrong contractual reference, right? It's going to be a problem. Okay. So therefore, you have to make sure you do that properly. Poorly drafted letter. I have a lot of things to explain here. What is a poorly drafted letters? It have a lot of meaning. Not refer to any defined letters in the contract. There are so many definitions in the subclause 1. You don't mention any of them. You just write in your own bespoke wording. That is not correct. Or the content of the letter is wrong. Let's say there are standard formats for the notices, claims, or payment, variation. They have a different standard. You are using the same letter for everything, not possible. So you should understand what standard you are going to use. So your formats, the way of writing is not clear, right? What you are trying to say, it's very ambiguity. And you are sending the letter without any records or evidence. If you should understand one thing, you don't give any records in the claims or payments, you don't have entitlement for money. Even the variation, you have to prove the records. So you don't put the site record, you don't put the cost record, time impact, nothing there. So you are giving letters without any supporting documents. No drawing, no instruction, no site records, no minutes of meeting, not even the site progress photograph. So you can't claim. So no records, no claim. So if you don't claim, which is already incurred the cost at site as a contractor, what will happen? It's going to be bring the cash flow impact. Ultimately, you are going to go what? Your objective of the letters going to fail. You are not reserving your rights. Okay. If you are not reserving your rights, you are not going to get the money. Therefore, it brings the disputes. So do you think the dispute is good? No, it is not good. The dispute can break the business relationship between the parties. There are, sorry to say that one, there are so many trainings I have seen. They talk about the dispute resolution, arbitration, litigation, adjudications, so many things. But dispute avoidance, conflict avoidance trainings are very rare to see. So what do you think? Which is better to learn? Avoid the conflict to continue the business, or learn how to fight with the employer to lose the business? We are here to learn how to keep the relationship without go for a dispute. That needs more sensible knowledge compared to the dispute resolution. So therefore, learning the contract is very important, and part of this advanced QS training, I have included this practical contractual letter writing through a workshop. So we will have the proper understanding of the contract first. You understood the content of the letter now. We will learn each and every subclauses. Then we will bring the case study scenarios. Then we can have a proper contractual letter writings. So you can have the great idea how to at least write a good letters that can give the good impression between the your employer, and it can definitely it can trigger the good professional growth. Now I want to ask you the role of the quantity surveyors. Maybe in construction we have the two different stage. One is the pre-contract, another one is a post-contract. Do you know where is the dividing point? How do you know this is a pre-contract, this is a post-contract? What is the dividing point? Many people will give you the different answer. Dividing point of the pre-contract and the post-contract is not other than the contract award. So whatever happening contract award before called pre-contract, whichever happening after the contract award called post-contract. Okay. So in the pre-contract, you have a contractor QS who's coming for a bidding, consultant QS, and the employer QS who is preparing the bidding. In the post-contract, same as contractor QS and the consultant QS and the employer. There are, you can see, mainly 3 different types of QS. Have you all in this room today, in this webinar today, gain all of this experience from the contractor, consultant, and client side? Some of you yes, some of you no. Have you all have the both experience, pre-contract and post-contract? Some of you yes, some of you no. Let me assume that you have no experience, and that is how I am going to take this training to share my experience, which I have gained over the 2 decades. Because end of the training, what we are trying to achieve, you are going to have the same experience what I am having right now to go for a better life, better professional life. So advanced QS practice, it's all about experience sharing program. So don't talk about the theory and academic here. Okay, it is no point. Now somebody hiring nowadays in the industry, somebody hiring someone, they're expecting you to safeguard their interest. Actually, the quantity survey is a professional guardian, right? You are a professional guardians of the employer. You are the one safeguarding the employer interest. Actually, you are the one controlling the cost. So this program is all about my experience, and this is a new batch. We are going to do one other things with the contractual letter writings. Okay. So again, let's go to the point what we have discussed. We have the pre-contract and the post-contract. Is the contract awarding part is the dividing point of the both area. Now see here, what is the common wording seeing here? Contract, right? Pre also we have the contract, post also we have the contract. So without knowing what is a contract, can you manage both of them? Now some of you may be thinking, I can manage the post contract if I know the contract. Yes, but can you manage the pre-contract without knowing the contract? Still you can't, because whatever the wrong things you are doing in the contract award will impact in the post contract. So you should know both area how to manage the contract in either in the pre, either in the post. Quantity surveying industry or construction industry is very vast, right? The people work for a consultant or contractor, they are having some gray area. They are not exposed to the all the quantity surveying aspect. As I told you, if you are coming from academic, or if you are coming from the converted profession, or you are trying to shift to the career to the QS, this is going to be challenge if you don't learn correctly which industry needs. And in this program, we talk about feasibility study, then we should understand the principle of measurement, then you should understand the type of contract. Many people, okay, don't know what is the type of contract. If you don't know the type of contract, you don't know how to do the payment variation. Don't say I am a perfect. No. Each type of contract, it's operate the project differently. You can't practice. What did you practice with the lump sum contract under remeasurable contract? Or you can't practice what is practice under measurement value contract under cost reimbursement contract. All are different. Form of contracts are condition of contract. As I told you, we are going to focus on the FIDIC. Procurement routes look like a 2-line theory. No, it's a very vast area. Even many professionals, okay, don't know the subject very clearly. We are going to learn the best and the maximum that we can learn that really needed to practice in the industry. And tendering, whoever don't have any idea about the tendering, you should know from this training you are going to learn. Once the contract award, okay, we are going to learn main part of the syllabus is payment and variation. Okay, but are we going to only focus on the payment and variation? Is it all about the FIDIC entire book? What do you think? So entire FIDIC book, are we going to talk about the payment and variation? No. It's cover entire book, mean there are so many topics. So the people achieved a professional growth not just because they know the payment and variation. No, you should know everything. Let me give you a syllabus brief. We are going to talk about the principle of measurement. If you don't know what is measurement, don't say you are a quantity surveyor at all. Okay, it's a measurement. Quantity surveyor. So quantity takeoff is your basic function. That is a measurement. So you should know how to do the measurement. We are going to learn the basic principle here, but if you want to learn very detailed knowledge about the measurement, because advanced QS not for a basic level, it is for advanced practice. If you want to learn something about the measurement, then we have the different training, integrated quantity surveying. You can join that one. We are teaching the quantity survey about the measurement in depth. Then, as I told you, type of contract, form of contract, procurement, tender, ending with the contract award. With that, pre-contract is over. So therefore, no rocket science inside of the QS, but you should have the proper experience. If you have the proper experience, believe it or not, let's say whatever the number of experience you gain, like a 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. Do you know how to do this job properly? Then that is the matter. You can go for a better opportunity. Okay, so pre-contract and post-contract begin. When the post-contract begin, we are talking about the project commencement, bond, insurance, advance payment, how to do the advance, interim payment application or certification, subcontractor management, variation, change control management, taking over certificate, statement at completion, defect notification period, rights and obligation and the provision, performance certificates once end, final account, contractual letter, definitely we are going to adapt. And also you should learn the program, suspension, termination, disputes. Entire FIDIC we are going to cover. But are we going to cover only these topics I have mentioned here? No. It is vast again. I didn't put that one, material on site, material off site, retention bond. Likewise, there are a number of topics like a force major. So we are going to cover entire book, mean it is not this. The syllabus of the advanced US practice are very hidden. So many people trying to see the real syllabus. No, it is nowhere. It is there with you. At the end of the training, you will understand what you learn. But definitely in career growth, to become a managerial level, you should know the contract without any doubt. Okay, so this is the part up to now for the advanced US practitioner. And I have one message for those people trying to join this program. Learn now, because learning is very important. Learning can be done many ways. One is you really learn through your real experience. What I have done through my life, I have learned through my own experience. I didn't go any training because there's no training. Second way of learning, gain that knowledge from someone who expert. Now you are coming with the second option, which is saving your time. Because I have built so many quantity surveyors. When they join me, their salary is like less than 10,000. After 2 years, they went very high, like a double, triple. Why I'm saying, the employer doesn't want the title. They want the knowledge. They want the skill set. They want someone professional guardian who can safeguard their business. Okay, now stay with me for another 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to talk about the RICS things. So many of you are heading to the RICS, right? So this is for you. This is a long journey. Do you want to appear this symbol, or we can say this kind of picture in your LinkedIn platform? Are you all interested to gain? Many of you, yes, isn't it? Because achieving the RICS is very good. It's a symbol of growth. But how to start that journey? Look here. From here, I want to be very clear to you. Achieving the MRICS, many people are thinking, okay, I just want to achieve this MRIC, that's it. Don't keep that kind of mentality. You should achieve this MRICS with the knowledge and the skill set, not just a title. I will explain you. There are competencies called mandatory, core, optional. There are three competencies in the RICS process for the QS pathway. All the pathway, they have these three competencies only. So in the mandatory, common for all the pathway, RICS have 22 pathway. One of the pathway called quantity surveying, another pathway called project management. Likewise, they have 22 pathway. So mandatory common for all the pathway. Okay, if you talk about the difficulty of the subject, the ethics become very difficult. Ethics is very difficult on the mandatory subject. Others are not that much. So okay, we'll finish the mandatory by reading the material. Now we got the knowledge. We can be MRICS. Now be careful. There's a core competency. Now when come to the core competency, you see here, optional competency is also there. But in the core competency, you have to have the practice of advisory level. So in the level 1, what we have seen here, level 1 is you should have the knowledge of understanding. But level 2, which is here, these three subjects and these optional subjects, you should have the practice experience. Level 3, including the core competency and the ethics, it's all about the advisory level. Okay. So now if you talk about the procurement and tendering in the contract practice, which we are going to cover 100% by the advanced US practice. Do you think somebody can train you about the complete contract practice in a 6-hour period? What do you think? Is it possible to learn the contract practice in 6 hours? Everything from the A to Z? It's not possible. It takes time. There's some way, some students, what they do, shortcut. Okay, I will memorize all the question and answer and I will get the RICS. This is how many people are getting the RICS nowadays. It is not going to work for you. You are cheating yourself, because this membership, what is your objective of this membership? The objective of this membership to go for a better career, professional growth, respect for your works, and recognition for your skill set. That is why we are aiming the RICS, not just a title. Because as I told you, like my other student, when you are gaining this MRICS, don't look at for a new job. When you are achieving this MRICS, that time you are already in a good job, because you already gain the knowledge from me and you have to be in a good level, because RICS test justify, okay, you are already practicing as a chartered QS. It doesn't say from today onward you are going to practice as a chartered. No, it is justifying you already in a MRICS level. So that is the reason we are going to spend around 8 months to learn. These 6 core competencies are very tough one. Quantification costing. If you talk about the quantification costing and construction technology, very big subject. Let me tell you one by one. Construction technology, RICS put a very vast syllabus. It's talk about from the site investigation, soil reports, testing, and from the dewatering, earthwork support, foundation types until finishes, including the MEP civils. So it is just including the landscape, everything. It's a building. Plus it talk about the infrastructure, airport, bridge, dam. Like it's a very vast syllabus. Nobody can train this subject within the 6 hours or 10 hours. You have to have the proper experience from your career. But however, quantification costing is not that much vast compared to the construction technology. It's a defined syllabus, but the problem is you have to familiar with the SESAM 3, SESAM 4, NRM 2, POMI, like any standard measurement which is you are using in your local region. This consume a lot of time. So this is a subject, quantification costing will consume a lot of time. Therefore, you don't feel easy to learn this subject without investing your time on these topics. But I have a solution for you. If you don't have the basic measurement you want to learn, we are having the new training, integrated quantity surveying, where we are teaching both construction technology and the quantification costing. So you can join that one. And nowadays we are giving some special scholarship for a needy student for the IQS, so you can join with that program easily. And other subject like a project finance, design economics, or commercial management, not that much difficult compared to the one we discussed right now. An optional subject, if you are very smart, you don't need to worry at all, because we have the strategy to eliminate them. Okay. So again, if you see mandatory, we have the level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 3 is a difficult one. Optional all level 2, and the core competencies are level 3. And you should know how to write the summary of experience case study. That's easy. I will guide you in another session. But again, if you talk about the core subject, this is a very important subject. You can see procurement, tendering, contract practice. Without knowing this subject in depth, you don't imagine you can be a proper QS. You can't aim the better salaries or better position. So my advice for you, if you are aiming the RICS, aim the knowledge. With the knowledge, go for RICS. That is how it's going to work. Without knowledge, don't try to grab this RICS like so many other qualification they do offer in the market, and end up with the failure, because so many MRICS people going to the interview and failing the interview. Recently, I have so many calls to provide the quantity surveyor how we can justify a candidate have the knowledge. The employers are disappointed. So therefore, learn the skill set and use it in the work. Definitely your employer will recognize, okay, this person have the skill set, therefore we have to keep him, otherwise the business cannot be run. Now let me ask you, construction industry is a charity or business? Are we doing business in the construction industry? Real estate is a big business, big market. So they want the profitability. If you know how to manage the project correctly, then you can do. For that, you have to have that certain skill set. Okay, so therefore, we had 1,000 MRICS goal, not just a title holder, but skill development. So there, I want you to be part of that. And we have the process, which is join and gain the RICS result. So in between the process, leave it to us. That's how the things going on. The main difference between the MRICS people I have built, and you can see in the industries, okay, we do a complete support until they pass. The pass rate is very high. Very important thing is strong knowledge. Knowledge, no compromise. And we have a team to do that one. And we have a vision, because our objective is we want to work as a one team in the future. So to work with us, we need the skill set back, not the title. Let's say somebody having the MRICS, but he don't know how to do the cost control. There's no use of it. Okay, so therefore, thank you for attending this today webinar. Anyone want to join, you can contact me through this WhatsApp number directly. And also, no any reason should be stop your learning things. Wherever whatever your situation, doesn't matter. If you need any help, you can reach me through this contact. So I will try to accommodate a needy quantity surveyor in this time to help them. And also any existing candidate of the QS4QS, okay, you want to rejoin the RICS, or the existing quantity surveying student who went through with the AQS training, or you want to attend the new training, also you are welcome. But don't stop the learning for any reason.